Okay, so there have been a lot of reveals in the last few weeks. It's only been just barely a month since last time, and there have been a lot. A lot. So many that I'm actually not going to do all the reveals today. I grabbed a good swath of them, but if I tried to give you my thoughts on everything that got announced since last time in one go, this video would be over 20 minutes long. So I'm aware there's plenty more for me to cover, but for now, this is just what I'm going to do in this video. Also, for those wondering what happened with the previous video, why it came out so late in the day, YouTube just glitched out and forgot I scheduled that video. For a site this big, it sure has some weird errors, like how to this very day the Collector Lingo video still is not able to be viewed on the YouTube app. It just doesn't play. Also, I'm trying to hit at least 9K subscribers by the channel's second birthday on August 8th. If you enjoy this video by the end, please consider subscribing. And share this video around if you're able. Also, your likes. Give them to me. Downvotes are good too. But let's start talking about all the stuff you came here to see. Okay, let's start out with the Clampdown. Why? Because I don't care, and I don't know anyone who would. The Siege Lambo rapidly became one of the most overproduced figures of all time. I don't understand quite why they felt the need to make well over 10 different versions of that thing, when sure, it's a decent mold, but it's not something I need an army of. This became the Autobot version of the Seekers, when the Autobots don't need a version of the Seekers, since they just get the bulk of every toy line devoted to them already. It looks like it's going to be as good as it ever was, but this time with the incredibly small improvement of no handle on the missile, and that's really it. Then we got Shattered Glass Blaster, which looks pretty good. I mean, Blaster is one of the best molds of Kingdom and all, but I don't know. The colors are just a little boring. I don't hate most of them, but the thighs don't stand out enough, and I find the face being pitch black a little weird. I don't dislike that part, it's just a really unusual detail. Now his alt mode, that part is particularly strange. It's actually shocking just how much the new colors change his vibe. Weirdly, it stops feeling, to me at least, like a boombox and just starts to look like some kind of techno square. Just an alien object of unknowable purpose. And you know what? I'm probably more here for that than I am for just another radio. Why are there no Transformers figures that turn into stuff like alien obelisks or something? Forget alien vehicle, give me alien devices beyond our comprehension. Now let's talk about the Creatures Collide box, because it contains the What-Spinator I talked about last time. And no! Not again! Stop re-releasing the shitty Cliffjumper mold! Stop putting it in the multi-pack so I have to pick it up if I want the other stuff! I do not want this piece of trash again! Getting it one time was 10 times too many! As much as I just complained that they overproduced different versions of the Siege Sideswipe mold, that one was at least good enough to deserve a couple retools. The Earthrise Cliffjumper wasn't good enough to be released by itself the first time. But no, instead they needed it to be the Earthrise Autobot Seeker, I guess because it was also a red car. Earthrise was better than I initially gave it credit for, but I will die on the hill that Cliffjumper was trash. It's not even appropriate for the character because the show model had a big hood, a heroic build, and skates built into his feet, which I'm sure just had to have been a metric pain in the ass to live with. And also his hands weren't purple. But why though? If this thing has GPS, I'm going to laugh so hard. I wouldn't put it past them considering the last buzzworthy multi-pack like this wasn't made with gold plastic, but they were all built so shitty they still wound up feeling like they had it. And it's still coming with a stupid fucking rocket launcher. Can you assholes please ditch the rocket launcher? It was a weapon Cliffjumper had in one 10-second long scene in the show, and never again. Yet every time you re-release this stupid thing, every character has to give up their iconic guns so they can get this admittedly decent reference to another character. Stop! For the love of God, fucking stop with this mold! Then there's Ransack. I know this is going to make a lot of people happy. I'm not too familiar with the character myself, other than I knew he existed and I had his card in the sadly now defunct card game, but I will freely admit that this looks way cooler than the Kickback. By the way, why was Kickback called Kickback? I mean, I know it has to do with legs and he's a grasshopper, but his teammates are named Bombshell and Shrapnel. You have bomb, and thing that results from bomb, and then bribery. Why are two of the names related, and then the third one not? Weirdly enough, this comes with an alternate normal Kickback head. I suppose for people who hate fun. I mean, I guess they have the tooling for it, so why not? The new heads are probably all cast on a separate sprue. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like this will never be used by anyone, so why bother painting it? Also, damn, that's a lot of paint they used for the wings there. Did they really need to be caked in yellow? I wound up liking the Kickback a lot more than I thought I was going to, so I actually welcomed this one with open arms when it looks like an improvement. Though, I know a good few people were thoroughly unimpressed with it before, and there's nothing here that will change that for you. If the transformation was just too boring for you, I get it, and nothing here has really improved on that front, so feel free to steer clear if possible, provided you don't want the others in the set. Then you got what turns out to be called Sky Wasp. I can't help but feel Warp-Spinator is just a better, dumber name. My feelings on this are pretty much unchanged from last time, though is it me, or is it weird that he also comes with the non-mutant Buzzsaw head? Like, I get it with the Ransack. Ransack has a different head, and the original Kickback head would obviously be part of the normal mold, so if you are making a new one, why not include the one that got made as part of the process anyways? But based on everything I've seen here, they want Waspinator's mutant head to be the main one. So that's the standard head. Why are they also adding in the robot head? Then we got Scorponok, and I'm really starting to wonder if I want this set at all at this point. A lot of people tell me that the Sandstorm is a ton better because of the tolerances, and I'm happy to hear that, but it's still Scorponok. The tolerances were like 1/3 that terrible figure's issues. That's like walking into a nasty public bathroom and noticing that it has new undamaged mirrors. I do think this looks better than the normal version. The original toy colors really agree with him, and then there's the new mutant head, which can be swapped with the normal head, and yeah, I totally appreciate that. This does make it a little better. So, who knows? Maybe I can be interested in this set, but they sure have not made it easy for me. Then you got Bumblebee G.I. Joe crossover, and I don't think I'm breaking any hearts when I say this looks like shit. The Megatron wasn't great, but it wasn't this. This wasn't designed by Hasbro's B team. Hell, this doesn't look like their C team. This was the F team. Maybe it was designed by the guys who exclusively make G.I. Joe and have never even handled a Transformers figure before. In the history of all Transformers, there have been few figures with a more egregious case of kibble, and I don't know if I've ever seen proportions half this bad before. His torso is like 1/3 as long as it should be, while it's 2 times wider. His shins are titanic. Just one of them is bigger than his whole upper body. His arms are weird. Why are his hands green? Jesus Christ, those tires. Yeah, crap job there, Hasbro. Feel bad about it. Speaking of crap job, the red line. This is the line that refuses to end. It goes on and on, my friends. How is this train wreck of a line still going? And only making more sense as time goes on. I mean, it's not good, but at the very least they're making characters like Prime and Megatron, designs that are incredibly difficult to pull off accurately because of just how fast and loose the show played with the designs. I remind you, lest you forget, that Knockout's tires actually have to melt through his alt mode to get onto his back. Megatron's, that's a spicy meatball, hand looks awful. But otherwise, these look better than normal and are something that at least makes more sense than usual for the red line. Articulation looks like it's probably still trash though. How much you want to bet that that less than 90-degree bend is the best that Megs here can pull off? And then look at this absolutely bullshit Matrix pose on Optimus here. You see how the door windows are in focus and yet his fists aren't. That's because his arms are a lot closer to camera. Essentially, he's holding them near straight out and just hoping it looks like he's using them to open his chest window. This line is the worst running gag Hasbro has ever tried to pull. Road Rocket. I love how when this is RC, the mold is way too masculine, but now that it's supposed to be a dude, it's way too feminine. This mold is cursed. It only looks like the opposite of what they want it to look like. The comics told us to expect this, but this ain't it, Chief. How is the head so horribly wrong? Oh, and great, they're coming with the Energon pizza again. At least this time they painted it like it's anything at all. Hauler, the improved grapple mold in more interesting colors with a new head, but I have one question. Where are his purple titty windows? That is all. Cosmos. Oh, he looks so perfect! I'm gonna be honest, I was never half as impressed with his Legends figure as everyone else was. It's an okay toy, but it didn't capture the character at all. So this is awesome to see. Does this boy have both Narcissa wrists and rotations? Give it to us, Hasbro. We deserve it. Love the accessory. It's nice and silly. I'm so super excited for this. Shocked it's coming out in the Velocitron subline and not the main body of Legacy. Then there's Override, or Nitro Convoy. And am I the only one who finds it a bit strange that they've gone with the US name, but leaned into the fact that this was a dude in Japan with the sculpt? So RC, who's not supposed to be androgynous, is. But Override, who's supposed to be very androgynous, isn't. Great job, guys! I'm happy to see that Cybertron fans are getting something to look forward to. This looks a little on the overly simple side. Though, I do think I see a forwards butterfly, so that's cool. And it's a bit gaudier than I'm normally down for, but I don't really dislike what I'm seeing here. I think I'll happily grab this up. Though, fuck you, Hasbro! This is once again not a Voyager. Well, Voyager just means complexity now! Well, that looks like a fucking lie, because based on what I'm seeing here, this is going to be a parts former, and it's going to be incredibly basic. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't expect to be. And then there are leaked images of Minerva. It looks good, not much different when compared to the Alita, but I still have to ask how people guessed that this was going to be Minerva, considering that alt mode looks 0% like it should. Burnout, skids in black with a case of Primus Apotheosis. Nemesis Prime, Laser Prime in black with a case of Primus Apotheosis. I actually love the look of this. I know it's not too accurate to the original Scourge's design, who he's based on, but that's fine with me. I actually think this looks a lot cooler like this in the higher quantity of blacks and reds. Though, at the same time, I do think they probably need to release a version of this in a much more accurate scheme. It'll probably end up being a premium finished figure though, and cost like $100. To this day, I still don't quite know why I enjoyed the Laser Prime figure so much, but it has been the most fun I've had with Legacy so far. I know people who had the original who tend to see it as a downgrade compared to the G1 toy, which is actually a little hard for me to argue. It's not amazing, but I find this is just a fun one, and I'm glad to have another go at it in even cooler colors. Okay, so this is a real weird one to me. Shattered Glass Wheeljack is, I guess, named Slicer? He's got bitchin' colors, and he's apparently a Decepticon? How does that work out? Shouldn't he still be an Autobot? Question of the video, how does that work out? The ER mold is not a good one, so I'm not exactly thrilled to see it return yet again, but the new colors do give him some spice, and I guess it comes with what's getting called an exosuit? Which isn't an exosuit, it's just Fast Track, who was the one Earthrise mold I went to buy, took one look at it in person, and said, yeah, no thank you. The head does not look like it belongs on the body. It looks like a plank of wood mounted on his shoulders, and the weaponizing on it is trash. I'm confused, and yet I still kinda want this. Lastly, IDW Blur. God, there was so much more I wanted to go through with this video, but it's already running over long. Anyways, totally, yes please, thank you, dear God, why do I even have the original version of this mold anymore at this point? The IDW designs are so cool, though this copy looks like it has a creepy little lizard nose. And from this angle, the lips and face are kind of horrifying, but I am so down for this. I love that they resculpted the arms as well. He looks kind of jacked, which is weird, but it also really changed the look of the alt mode, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if that works at all. The new alt mode is kind of really hideous. I know it looks sort of like what it was supposed to, but this is exceedingly compromised by it being a retool. As ugly as this is, I'm still over the moon to be getting more IDW stuff, and I hope that Hasbro decides to keep this up because IDW deserves more love than the brief flash it had in 2016. The bi-weekly challenge on my Discord has come and gone. This time, it was making your own Transformers OC who had an alt mode that was from a pre-selected limited pool. If you want to join the next community challenge, it's currently on making PerspectiveEnd memes. Whatever you can think of, post it on the Discord. Big props to 3rd place Starshock with his big Beast Wars Megatron Energy alligator, Crocbot. Name seems a little blasphemous. 2nd place goes to Salou BC with their absolute shitpost of a Croctimus, the power of trolling. And 1st place goes to Spiky for their very movie-inspired A10 Warthog character that looks like it was done in watercolors and then photoshopped onto a digital background. Impressive work, my friend. Thank you to everyone who participated. I loved every last one of them. If you'd like to see the original images without the text over them or participate in the new event, just join the Discord. And that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know you know what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.